Hello everybody and welcome to the Frenzy Extra, the final episode of the Extra this year. I'm Andy Lacombe and it comes leading up to the state semifinal games in high school football where these Northbridge Rams will be taking on Hoosick Valley. It'll be their third straight appearance in a state semi. More with Northbridge in just a little bit. But first we start in Division 2 with Neshoba. The Chieftains coming off a win over St. John's in the Central Mass title game and looking to keep their undefeated season.
It's a heck of a game. Came down to the end. We knew St. John was going to hang in like this. We knew it was going to be a tight game like this, but we stuck it out to the end. And I knew that game was not over when they got down to the goal line. That was huge, huge. Biggest game of my entire life. That was awesome.
It feels great. I mean, the past couple of years we haven't been as good as we've always been. But now we're putting Neshoba football back on the map, which is a good thing. All season we've rode behind our offensive line. You know, they made plays. We just rode behind them. We knew we could score on them, and that's what we did. We just put a little drive together. We knew we weren't out of this game by far, even though we let them back in, but we knew we could score.
It feels amazing. You know, it's something we've worked hard for all year. Started in late August, and we've just been working hard all year for it.
We got to celebrate this one, then go on to the next one, you know? Keep it going.
In Division 4, the Grafton Indians won a slugfest over a Holy Name up north at Doyle Field in the Central Mass final game. So now they go back to Doyle for the state semis, and this is a position that Grafton and their head coach, Coach McMahon, have been working towards all season long.
It was just a tremendous high school football game played between two tough, physical teams, and in the end, we made just an unbelievable play. These kids have worked hard all year, put ourselves in this position, and to make a play like that with the game on the line, just again a testament to our seniors and what kind of kids these are. These are the kind of kids that plays like that happen, and they kept playing. They never gave up. We came through with just an absolutely incredible win. An incredible win. I couldn't be happier for our team, for our program, and especially for the seniors. Again, to make that play, and it looked pretty bleak, to be honest with you. To make a play like that, it's absolutely unreal. It's amazing. I told these kids in the summertime, and I said this last week, that I thought this team could do something special. I love the camaraderie of the team. The way that they stay together, whether it's in the locker room, through very difficult practices, overcoming injuries, other obstacles. It's an amazing group of kids, and I couldn't be prouder of them. It's all the kids. It's the kids. In the end, it's the players that make the plays, and they did tonight.
In Division 6, St. Bernard's, those guys say they've been fighting for respect all season long. Well, now they have it. They're the Central Mass champions, Central Mass Super Bowl winner. They moved to the state semis now, and the Bernardians think they have a pretty good shot of heading to Gillette.
Questions about our schedule and our toughness. I don't think there's a better way to win this football game. Our true character showed through, our toughness showed through, all the respect for the coaching staff over there. Cole is, what a talent. I mean, what an incredible player. Thought their kids played hard, and I thought our kids rose to the challenge, and says a lot about their character, bouncing back, falling down, responding, and making some key stops on defense.
We knew we could do it, and we've been talking about it all year long, and it's amazing that it finally happened. We knew it was going to be tough, and we just kept battling. They just played amazing, and we just had to grind through it.
Coming into the game, we really felt, we've been defending the double wing since '96 with Austin Prep and Coach Hickey and all those days, and we felt like we had a really good plan. We were concerned about our offense, to be honest with you. McCoubrey's they're loaded up outside, took Cooper away, and he covers so much ground in the middle. It was a tough thing. Injuries kind of plagued us there in the third or fourth quarter where we couldn't grind it out, but they did enough to get it done. I also feel like our kids can rise to the challenge as well, and I thought defensively they just played absolutely outstanding.
Well, these Northbridge Rams are getting ready for Hoosick Valley in the Division 5 game. It is their third straight trip to the state semifinals, and they faced Hoosick a couple of years ago, so this will be a rematch of sorts. Northbridge, they want to win this week, they want to win next week, but they first have to take care of a very tough opponent.
Definitely a big week, and we all know that we're one step away from getting to our main goal, and we just got to execute all week, have a good practice, and just do our jobs and get things done on Saturday. We know they're a good team, and they're definitely a run-based team, and we're going to have our eyes on film all week, and they're definitely going to be pretty mad about a few years ago, and they're going to have that in the back of their heads, and we're just going to have to play our game.
Our main goal is to get back to Gillette and win, but we've really been, especially since playoffs started, taking it week by week, game by game, just one step closer, focusing on that week.
Obviously, a lot of teams don't have this chance to be in this position that we're in, and I think our team just have came together this year, and we've just been doing our job all year, and it's been working out really well.
All right, here now with Steve Falconer. He is the defensive coordinator of the Northbridge Rams, a team whose defense has played great all season long. But as you guys get ready for the state semifinals, it's a position that you're familiar with. What are you preaching? What are you getting your guys ready for this week? Or is there a lot of stuff that needs to be said because they've been in this position before?
Well, I think the fact that we haven't had the end of the season that we've wanted the past 2 years, we haven't had much of a problem with motivation this year. And I think that's going to continue right through to the end. Wherever the end is, the motivation isn't a problem. And I know it's cliche, and you probably have heard, you hear the Patriots say it every week, but we really have been buying in to do your job. And we really feel like if all 11 on the defense, whichever 11 are in there are doing their job, that it's going to be hard for teams to get after it.
I heard you say this year that you've been saying that before Belichick. Is that true?
I believe so. And I won't take credit for it, but I'm pretty sure we were saying do your job before Belichick did. And if Belichick were to hear this and wanted to debate that, I'm available any evening.
Coach, Hoosick Valley is a team that you've seen in the last couple of years, or at least 2 years ago, in this similar situation. They're a power running team. You guys have been good against the run. What do you guys need to do defensively to be successful this week?
Well, we have gotten our eyes on film quite a bit already, and we are going to go in a little bit into the theater and take a look at the film as a team. And the things that we've already seen is that they do like to run the ball. I think they've passed it about 16 or 17 times for the season. They've got a very good QB. He was there as a sophomore when we played them 2 years ago, and you could see the maturity in the way he plays. And he might be, in my opinion, the most dangerous runner they have. But they also have a complement of about three other players that run the ball well. So my guess is they're not going to try to reinvent the wheel, and they're going to come out and try to see what they can get.
These are the matchups for you on Saturday in the state semifinals. Northbridge and Hoosick Valley, a rematch from a couple of years ago. That'll be noontime at Doyle Field. And following that game, it is Grafton and Chicopee Comp. Out west at Westfield State Division 6, St. Bernard's and Lee, they kick it off at 11 a.m. That game followed by Neshoba and very powerful Springfield Central. It is our state semifinal high school football frenzy, a special time Saturday night at 9 on Charter TV3, channel 193. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we go inside the studio. Kevin Shea and Jim Wilson recap the big games from last week and then talk state semifinals.
Coming up on a special Saturday edition of the Friday Night Football Frenzy, Northbridge looks for its third straight trip to Gillette as the Rams take on Hoosick Valley. In Division 4, Grafton looks to continue their run as the Indians battle Chicopee Comp. In Division 2, the Neshoba Chieftains look to remain perfect as they square off against Western Mass champs Springfield Central. And Assumption begins their NCAA run as the Greyhounds host Bowie State. The Frenzy on Charter TV3. The Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank, Herb Chambers, Toyota of Auburn, and UMass Memorial. Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Shea, joined alongside by Jim Wilson, the high school sports editor for the Telegram Gazette and Home Team Magazine. And Willie, Central Mass Super Bowl is now in the book, and we're moving on to the state semifinals, if you will. But we got to look back at these Central Mass Super Bowls because we had some great games. First starting in Division 2, that Neshoba St. John's game, instant classic, one for the ages. You could replay that game once a week and people would tune in. It was that good.
You could set your clock. You knew the St. John's were going to make a comeback. You knew the show was going to play good defense, both sides of the ball. So, I mean, like I said, it's a classic game. I'd like to see, as much as people want to see Leominster and St. John's, the show will prove they belong, which is great for them.
No, and you and I said this. I said it off camera to you. Neshoba beats Leominster at Leominster, and they beat St. John's on a neutral site. You cannot doubt how good this Neshoba team is. And one thing I do want to point out, Tim Cassidy just gave everything he had physically and emotionally to that game. And when you see someone play like that, it's just an inspiring effort. If you get a team full of Tim Cassidys that are going to invest that much physically and emotionally in a game, you're going to win a lot of games. And he gave everything he had. He was so drained physically and emotionally at the end of that game. And I'm sure the next day found it really tough to get out of bed, lift his arms, and he had to be really sore. But man, it was inspiring to see him play.
Probably one of the biggest players that improved from week 10 as he was when he started off in week 1. A completely different player. He's a great asset for St. John's.
And we've said it all year long. Even though some people out there at Neshoba don't want to give us the credit for it. Oh, you're overlooking Neshoba. All year long we've said 5 running backs. Yep. You can't focus on one running back. 5 running backs. All of them are effective. You were doing some numbers work. This is why, one of the reasons why they're so good and why they are. I told Jamie before the game that this is the Bill Belichick team. Do your job. Right. Everyone does their job in this offense.
There's not one guy who wants to be like the all-star. They're perfectly fine walking off that field with a win, knowing that the running backs, it's 5, like I said, 5 running backs get most of the carries. They both, I think Benjamin might get 8 or 9, 10 carries. Jake Fire, Mansell will probably get 4 or 5 each. There's plenty of balls to go around for this team. That's what I like about them. I mean, they're all averaging over like 4 or 5 yards a carry.
Right.
So which is insane when you think of there's not one weak link on that team.
Right.
That Mike Curtin, that line sort of opens up the holes and they'll get the yards. And 3 carries, they have a first down. They're moving the chains.
And Atwood runs that offense so well. I mean, the quarterback is your leader. He's the leader of that offense, and just the footwork involved with the wing tee, and you have pulling guards. You got to get to the guys and get to your running backs quickly, but you got to get out of the way of the guards so they can get down the line. He does a great job. Atwood does. And you know what? Looking at the defensive side of things for Neshoba, and this kind of goes unsung a lot, they tackle extremely well. Cassidy is a load. He's 230 pounds. He's fast. He's strong. And he's not trying to run out of bounds. He's not trying to avoid contact. He wants to run over people. And that Neshoba team stepped up in a big way, and they tackled. And it's not easy. When you're tackling a big guy, the first 1 or 2 times you tackle, you're like, whoa. And then it's easy to kind of start to hesitate a little bit and then just put an arm in, or I don't want to, because you're going to get punished even though you're the one tackling.
The alligator arms at the end of the game.
They didn't do it. They kept bringing it on a kid who was a beast.
Exactly. And I think that defense, and you look at what they've given up for the schedule they played, Leominster and St. John's, the only teams to score about 27 points per game on them, which you expect with given the history of those offenses. Other than that, they've kept teams in check. You're not getting too many trips to the end zone against Neshoba. Springfield Central is going to really test that because they're a really good team. Probably their biggest test of the season so far.
Yeah, and they beat Marlboro twice too.
Exactly.
Neshoba did. But as you mentioned, Springfield Central is a really good team, and they played a good schedule, and they played, they went out of state even to play some of the tougher teams in New England. Obviously, they're going to be tested coming into this game, and they're going to be confident.
LaSalle Academy, the opening, there was their only loss. They're Rhode Island powerhouse. Other than that, they've won 9 straight. Probably the guy to watch for, best name in football in Massachusetts, Tank Walker. It's just it's like kind of a comic book or a wrestling match. So they can watch him. They're probably watching a lot of film on him to find out how to stop him if they can. It's going to be a big test for them. Maybe the last 4 games they've scored over 40 points. So, I mean, it's an offense they have to work to shut down.
Tank Walker is destined to play at Georgia. That's the kind of name that is, Tank Walker, going to play in Georgia. Also, key will be the 3rd and 4th down conversions because Neshoba converted a lot of 4th down conversions against St. John's. So, coming up with that and coming up with a couple turnovers as well. Division 4, Grafton Holy Name, another great game. I mean, this one's Holy Name's on the 1-yard line going in for the go-ahead score. Grafton holds, strips the football, and the guy goes 103 yards for the touchdown. That's it. Game, set, and match. Unbelievable way for this game to finish. Even though it was the final 2 minutes, it wasn't like the final play of the game, but still. It's that was what decided the game.
A game as big as that, a Central Mass Super Bowl, for that kind of ending, it showed how well these teams were matched. We said beforehand it was basically a match between 2 mirror image teams as far as just punching each other in the face for 45 minutes, which is fantastic. You just want to see a black and blue football. Grafton, ever since going to that Mellon Fowle O'Brien combination in the backfield, they've been almost unstoppable as far as putting that offense on the field because you had the black and blue O'Brien coming up and just run up the middle and just punching your face mask, and then you have Mellon Fowle. You give him the corner, he's gone. He's probably one of the fastest guys, Division I player, just like his brother. I think he's going to be, he's really making his highlight. Last couple weeks he's come on, giving that whole offense a new dimension, and the defense has done a good job too. Another one of those overlooked defenses to shut down Holy Name, well, not really shut down, but really control that game.
They contained it.
And sort of, Mensa was kept under wraps a little bit. That was important because I think that's going to be a key to the Super Bowl for them as well.
Yeah, and it's a Holy Name offense that was rolling. Coming into that Super Bowl, they were rolling. They were putting up numbers and big numbers, and you mentioned. And again, it's the basics of football. It's blocking and it's tackling. And that's when we talk about Neshoba, that was their key. When you talk about Grafton, that's their key, blocking and tackling. They tackle extremely well. And you got to give credit to Chris McMahon and that Grafton staff for making the switch, putting Melifonwu in the backfield, and then they even have some plays where he's in the wildcat formation. It's a direct snap to Melifonwu.
It should be illegal.
So it's you're just
too good.
You're using your talent, and you kind of go through the season and see what works. But having that ability to adapt and say, you know what, I think we can change a little bit and tweak a little bit. And boy, they are really tough to stop with those two, O'Brien and Melifonwu.
Exactly, because not many people can match up with him. I mean, look at it's two distinctly good running. I mean, any other offense, they'd be the featured back and be getting the ball about 20, 30 times a game.
Right.
But they can share the ball, and each provides a different look whenever they touch it. They can make something happen every play.
Yeah, it's impressive. So they got Chicopee Comp. The keys to beating Chicopee Comp for Grafton, and with Huddle and stuff, they're going to know a little bit about them, but still, it's not something that we've seen Chicopee Comp the last 3 years or whatever.
You're doing a lot of coaches are making phone calls, trying to find contacts. They've been at clinics over the last couple of months and trying to figure out who common opponents, see what they do, because like you said, they're looking at max preps, they're looking at Huddle, they're looking to try to do a lot of internet searching on how they can but they really, how much can you see? I don't think the tape trading is as prevalent as it has been, and when it is, it's like you get the rainy game from the JV kid up in the 8th row of the press box.
Shaky
exactly, it's like watching the Zapruder film, like Blair Witch Project and something like, I think that's what number is that? You can't see the numbers. So I think they're pretty much relying on just going out where if we do what we do well, they have to stop us. And I think that's what Grafton and the other teams, for that matter, are playing. They're not going to worry about stopping what they bring. They said, would they have to worry about Melifonwu and O'Brien how to stop that, because nobody has so far.
And it's a great mindset. You got to dance with the lady that brung you. Don't change what isn't broken and what got you to the Central Mass Super Bowl victory. Division 5, Northbridge and Uxbridge. It's the Thanksgiving Day game. It's a huge rivalry. The two towns, all this. Northbridge, we talked about it. Northbridge is just so good. They're just too good, and we said you put them in the top 4. You take the top 4 teams in Central Mass, regardless of division. Northbridge is right in there, and they could be the favorite.
Again.
Could be the favorite to win in that top 5 super matchup, as I would like to call it.
One day we'll make that happen.
One day we're going to have, like Kirk Herbstreit has his own thing. I just want my Shea Bowl.
Your legacy, that's what you want.
Top 4. But they're so good. But one thing that struck me about them, just watching this game with Uxbridge, how smart they are. They just do little things so well. And there was a play, I talked about it on Saturday, where Kobe Schofer hits Jake Wood. Hits him at about the 10, 12-yard line. Well, there's a wide receiver in the end zone. The minute he saw Wood make the catch, he turned and he blocked his defender. Wood gets into the end zone. If he doesn't do that, if he's just standing there watching Wood, his defender comes off his hip, makes a tackle around the 5 or 6 yard line. It's little things like that that don't go noticed. Yeah, just smart. They're smart players.
Exactly. And you look at on paper, you look at these games, like we said, okay, Uxbridge should give them a problem with X, Y, and Z, and then it happens, like, okay, well, maybe not. It's just how good they are. And it's not a shot at Uxbridge or Leicester or anybody else they've played. They made a lot of good teams look silly with what happened, and the game plan just goes out the window once you start playing Schofer and Wood and all those guys.
Right, and Chandler Brooks got hurt in this game too, so they were down one of their stars on both sides of the ball. A playmaker on defense, a playmaker on offense. So he was out in this game, and they're still able to do what they do. And Schofer running around back there, as a defense, you have to take chances against Northbridge. So you're going to have to blitz. You're going to have to do some things. And then it's almost, okay, what happens if? Because now if you get through and you have 2 guys get through clean, Schofer gives a quick juke. He's off to the side. Now he's buying an extra 3 or 4 seconds, and they got 4 receivers downfield, and you got 3 guys covering him. So he's that good. It's almost like what do you do? Do you drop in an umbrella and just try to make them dink and dunk you down the field, or do you take chances, which winds up, that's what you have to do, because Northbridge is going to get up.
They're going to get
2
up
or 3 touchdowns on you, and you have to take chances, and they're just going to burn you.
That's what I'm saying. You look at on paper, a team like Hoosick Valley, it's a team that, I think I think Northbridge has a 429-13 advantage on the teams they've played. Hoosick has like 375 to 125. So it's sort of similar, but again, look at the teams they've played. I'm not sure if they can really stack those up. They have 2 running backs that have gone over 900 yards. But unfortunately, Northbridge's bread and butter is stopping the run.
Right.
I mean, I don't think anybody has really done very much success with them running the ball.
No.
Or any kind of offense, but running especially. So right there, that plays right into Northbridge's strength. So you look at that and say, again, we're going back to the whole. It's not so much of how Northbridge is going to stop Hoosick Valley. It's Hoosick Valley has to sort of contain Northbridge, and good luck with that.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Is now you have a running team in Hoosick Valley, and their quarterback's a good runner as well. But how much of that game plan goes out the window when you get down 2 or 3 touchdowns early on? Northbridge gets the ball, they score. They get the ball, they score. They get the ball, they score. And one thing that defense does, they create more 3 and outs. There's so many 3-and-outs, and then that offense is going for the throat every time. So if that defense can hold, the Northbridge defense can hold 1 or 2 possessions, and they score 2 or 3 times right off the bat, now Hoosick Valley, what do? Do you stick with your ground attack that's, because you're already down 3 touchdowns. Right. So now teams get out of their comfort zone.
That's what comes
and now we're going to have to throw the ball. You throw the ball, and you're also playing into the hands of Northbridge because their secondary is ball hawks.
Exactly. They got a great chauffeur, and the rest of their secondary loves. That's exactly what's right about them. They make you try to. You can't chase points against Northbridge.
Right.
Because when you do that, defense sort of steps up, and they have a great linebacking core. They force pressure on you.
Unbelievable.
And the next thing you know, you're throwing a ball, running, and I don't think they'll face too many quarterbacks that are good to throw a dart on one leg, running a bootleg, trying to escape two big linebackers and a tackle, trying to chase you down, running for your life. Not going to happen.
Right, and I love Quinn at linebacker for Northbridge, just sideline to sideline, so fast. Always has a great nose for the ball. Now, St. Bernard's in Division 6, they beat West Boylston. This is a big win for St. Bernard's, and you and I talked about this. This is taking on a real physical team in West Boylston and standing up to them and coming away with a victory. And Cooper Bigelow and his teammates deserve a lot of credit.
Exactly. I said on Saturday, going into it, I thought if Littleton couldn't slow down Cole McCoubry in West Boylston, I don't think anybody could. St. Bernard showed their defense is just as good. They really limited him as far as I figured at least, okay, he'll break 2 for a touchdown, and then it'll sort of be, again, another team that's tough to chase points because their defense is so good at shutting you down. You give them a 14-point lead, it's pretty much game over for West Boylston. They never got that chance. Right. McCoubry had 1 early, and then after that, I think he had 3 carries since then that went over 10 yards. So right there, that was a really good credit to the St. Bernard's defense. I'm looking at the past, looking at a team like Uxbridge, another offensive juggernaut they faced. They sort of contained it, but in the end, they think they got away from them. They ended up scoring like 3 times in the fourth quarter, got back into that game. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's only a matter of time for West Boylston, gets into gear. They never were able to. That great defense of St. Bernard's, a lot of people overlooked that because their offense had been so bananas. But I think that was a good benchmark for St. Bernard's to keep that game under wraps, not let anybody come out, and they knew, stop Cole McCoubry, you stop West Boylston. Easier said than done every other, the other 10 games of the year. Unfortunately, that's where they were able to make it happen.
And it's still, you can go back to the 1920s, the 1960s, and 2015. Defense wins championships. And you mentioned all the numbers that St. Bernard's put up. Their defense is what won them that game won that Super Bowl against West Boylston. And a great strategy, too. They had their defensive linemen cutting the offensive line of West Boylston, and then the linebackers flowing to the football, flowing to McCoubry. And again, sure-handed tackling and paying a price. When you're tackling a big back like McCoubry, you're going to pay a price. And they did it. They were willing to sacrifice their bodies. They were throwing their bodies into McCoubry, and they wrapped their arms. It wasn't just throw a shoulder in. Wrap your arms, wrap up. Great job by that St. Bernard's defense.
You talked to a lot of St. Bernard's kids. All they did all day was go low on him and try to take his legs out. And, it's one of those things. You hit him up top, you're going to walk away bruised.
Right.
And, you're going to bounce off him. Like you saw that one play in the week before. He's just ping-ponging off defenders, going in for a long touchdown. It was a fantastic huddle highlight of his, why they were so good, why they won that game against Littleton, because nobody could wrap him up and take him down. Well, you take his legs out, and it was hard for him to gain traction after that.
So they got to go in with a lot of confidence. St. Bernard's does, taking on Lee in the Central Mass, Western Mass Super Bowls. All right, we're out of time, Willie. We will. This is it. This is our final Frenzy Extra segment. So we want to thank everyone for watching all season long, and we're going to see you again next August when it's football time again. Coming up on a special Saturday edition of the Friday Night Football Frenzy, Northbridge looks for its 3rd straight trip to Gillette as the Rams take on Hoosick Valley. In Division 4, Grafton looks to continue their run as the Indians battle Chicopee Cop. In Division 2, the Neshoba Chieftains look to remain perfect as they square off against Western Mass champs Springfield Central. And Assumption begins their NCAA run as the Greyhounds host Bowie State. The Frenzy on Charter TV 3. The Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank, Herb Chambers, Toyota of Auburn, and UMass Memorial.
College Corner now, the Assumption Greyhounds are NE10 champions after a thrilling win at home in the NE10 championship game. First in program history for the Hounds, and head coach Bob Chesney fired up about that, but now they move to the NCAA and they take on a somewhat familiar foe in Bowie State.
It's something we've been fighting for from the moment we walked in here 3 years ago, something we've been fighting for with this team the moment we walked in here on August 12th. They're really really proud of their accomplishments up to this point in time, but obviously this is just the start of this journey for us from here on in. So we'll have a great day of practice today, and we're right back into it just like we do the same every single week. Just continue to fight the way that we fight, continue to compete the way that we compete, and now hopefully we have a good outcome here on Saturday. Just to see your name show up on that screen and then see your name show up as a 3 seed hosting a game, you know, I don't think it's something that we all thought would play out the way it played out. So they were all very, very excited. I'm glad that we can continue to stay here on campus for the week, take care of our academics like we continue to do, continue with our community service throughout the week, and then on Saturday, you know, right back into it. Well, they're a very good and explosive offense. They have the ability to score. They can chuck it up at any point in time, and they have some really tall, athletic, very good receivers. The quarterback is young, so hopefully we can get to him a little bit. Their running back is phenomenal. He is very, very good, very fast, very quick, has great vision. Defensively, they're good. Their defensive line is as stout as any that we faced up to this point in time, and their back half, the athleticism in their back half is very, very good. So we definitely have, you know, our work cut out for us. I think we can continue along the same progressions that we've been taking, you know, week in and week out, and we just got to make sure again that we focus on running the football, stopping their run, right, and then at the same time winning that turnover battle, which is something we've been able to do over, you know, week in and week out for the past couple of weeks, which has resulted in a couple victories here for us. So we need one more big one on Saturday.
7 wins for WPI this season. It earns them an ECAC Bowl for Coach Robertson's bunch. Thrilled with the season so far. Now they have a relatively unfamiliar opponent in Keene that they're playing in the ECAC Bowl as they get ready to try to make a little more history this season.
For the youth that we had in the program, the amount of injuries that we had in the program, we had a lot of guys step up in some critical situations, and I think probably the best thing about the team this year was that, you know, we had each game there were different guys stepping up into big game roles and getting things done, taking advantage of opportunities, and it was just great to see from a team that, you know, has a group of seniors that have worked extremely hard, and now they see it all the hard work pay off, and a group of younger guys that, you know, had a chance to compete and be involved in such a great season. I certainly know of the conference. The New Jersey Athletic Conference is one of the strongest football conferences in all of Division III, with the Montclairs and the Rowans and Kane and some good, you know, good football programs down there. But, you know, from what we can tell so far, they're well coached, they're athletic, they're strong, and, you know, going 6-3, 7-3 in that conference, I think, you know, speaks volumes about the program that they have. So, you know, we've got to play well, and I think that we've got an opportunity to do some good things this weekend. But it's going to be a dogfight.
Holy Cross will not be making a postseason bid this season, but they do have a chance to finish above 500 for the first time in several years. Tom Gilmore's bunch taking on Georgetown at home with the ability to close the season strong.
Georgetown's been in every single game. They had 1 or 2 games early in the season where they struggled a little bit against very good opponents, but since then they've either won or been down to the last possession of the game in every single game. So they're a good football team. They move the ball very well against everyone, and they have one of the better defenses in the league too. So they present a lot of challenges. I see a lot of similarities to our team. They're very competitive. They play hard. And it's a Jesuit rivalry, so we know it's going to be a very spirited game. There's a lot at stake. I mean, anytime there's a football game, there's a lot at stake. But when you look at the bigger picture things, you know, ending 4 of our last 5 with victories, you know, sending the seniors out with a win and getting a winning season, you know, those are really good goals to shoot for, and we certainly want to accomplish them and end the season on a high note. And you know, we certainly are capable of doing that. We have to prepare well this week, and we have to go out there and get the job done on Saturday. But there's a lot riding on the game. I think everyone knows that, and everyone's excited about that.
All right, to the Dean's List now. Jake Holmes and Becker, they had 7 wins this season. Program record for the Hawks. Holmes, the Westboro native, 165 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a win over Anna Maria. On the other side of that contest, Victor Sambola out of Worcester Tech had 6 tackles for the Amcats. Zach Grassis out of David Prouty and WPI, 101 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, and a win over Springfield that helped WPI earn that bowl bid. Lamar Edmonds out of St. Peter Marion playing at UNH, 7 tackles and a forced fumble and a win over Albany. Chris Story out of Uxbridge playing at Westfield State, 9 tackles in a game against Western Connecticut. and Noah Robinson out of Dory playing at Memphis, 4 tackles in the game against Houston. That'll do it for another year of the Frenzy Extra, and what a better place to wrap things up than here at LaSalle Field in Northbridge. I'm Andy Lacombe. Thanks for watching all season long. We will see you Saturday night on the Frenzy.